Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another week in the sixth grade. You are looking at the results from the main idea quiz on Friday. As you can see, 87 kids took the test. The highest score was a 5, the lowest score was a 1. We averaged 79.31% as a class. Looks like 28 of us aced it. 38 of us had 4 out of 5. 13 of us had 3 out of 5, 6 of us had 2 out of 5, and that left us with a couple people that had 1 out of 5. Our job this week is to practice with main idea again, get better, and then get this 79.31% up to an 85%. Quiz problems. If you look at the data from the quiz problems, question number 1 about swimming in the ocean, we averaged a 90% as a class. Question 2 about watching sports on television, we averaged a 91%, so everything is looking really good. Question 3 about playing with fire, we averaged an 85%, so we're well above average. Question 4, we averaged an 86%, which is great. We're well above average. And question number 5 is what killed us. Without question number 5, we would have been well above 85% and onto a new wake up this week. It was the one about Williamsburg, Virginia. So I just want to take a second to take a look at that question and talk through why the answer was what the answer was. So here it is. The biggest confusion is people had the first sentence as the main idea. In Williamsburg, you can see how many people lived in colonial times. The correct answer was Colonial Williamsburg is a great place to visit. The main idea of this paragraph is Colonial Williamsburg is a great place to visit. Here's why. If I said the sentence Colonial Williamsburg is a great place to visit and finished it with the word because, or right after that sentence said the word because and then read the rest of the sentences, it would make sense. Let's give it a shot. Colonial Williamsburg is a great place to visit because in Williamsburg you can see how people lived in colonial times. Colonial Williamsburg is a great place to visit because there are guides in costumes who can show you taverns, shops, and houses. Colonial Williamsburg is a great place to visit because you can sample some colonial food at the Restored Tavern. Colonial Williamsburg is a great place to visit because one visit to Williamsburg will make you feel as if you have been transported to the 1700s. Let's try this with the first sentence, which is incorrect. This is not the main idea, and let's see if it works for the rest of the sentences. Now, as you see, or as you just heard, Colonial Williamsburg is a great place to visit because in every sentence we read, every sentence that was part of this paragraph, that made sense when we used the word because after the main idea. Let's try it with the first one now. In Williamsburg, you can see how people lived in colonial times, is what a lot of people thought the main idea was. And let's throw the word because after that now and see what happens. In Williamsburg, you can see how people lived in colonial times because there are guides and costumes who can show you taverns, shops, and houses. Perfect, that one works. In Williamsburg, you can see how people lived in colonial times because you can sample some colonial food at the Restored Taverns. Perfect. In Williamsburg, you can see how people lived in colonial times because one visit to Williamsburg will make you feel as if you've been transported to the 1700s. Perfect. All of these sentences work. Now let's check out the last sentence and see if it works. In Williamsburg, you can see how people lived in colonial times because Colonial Williamsburg is a great place to visit. Does not work. In Williamsburg, you can see how people lived in colonial times because Colonial Williamsburg is a great place to visit. That does not support the first sentence. Colonial Williamsburg is a great place to visit. It does not support what a lot of you thought was the main idea, which was the first sentence. So, in conclusion, a strategy that you may want to use this week is find the main idea, and after the main idea, use the word because, read the rest of the sentences, and if it makes sense, you can be pretty certain you found your main idea. Good luck with main idea. We'll practice Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday this week. Thursday will be your test. Good luck.